Taylor Swift's Eras Tour has had an economic impact. Greater than 50 countries is where that impact has been felt, according to a recent study. Concert goers have been spending about $1,300 per show. If that pace continues through the end of the tour, it'll add an estimated $5 billion to the U.S. economy. Here with her insight into the economic juggernaut that is Taylor Swift is Enders Analysis music industry analyst Alice Enders. Great to have you here with us this morning. Okay, so just round figures here as we think about that economic impact. What do you calculate that to be, and where do you expect this to continue to kind of show itself strong?
Well, we're seeing the same level of ticket prices, all over the world. I think one of the important things that's going on outside the US is that Taylor's being really strict about resale. And as you know, we're not really capturing the full cost. If someone spent $7,000 on a ticket, that obviously is going to bulk up ticket revenues. The heart of this is, of course, the ticket sales themselves. But I think the thing that's really important about Taylor, and the thing that really makes her so different from other people in the industry, is, first of all, she's a singer, songwriter, performer. She's all by herself on stage. She only, she calls all the shots. And one of the most important things about Taylor is that she cultivates an incredibly strong relationship, direct relationship with her fans. She is on the side of the fans and not on the side of the industry players, whether it's the venue operators or Ticketmaster or anyone else, the record labels or whatever. And I think that kind of personal connection, I haven't really seen that to that extent in certainly in the last couple decades in terms of singer performers. I mean, I think Adele has a very strong connection with her fans, but Taylor's taken it to absolutely the top. And of course, she's only 33. She has a lot ahead of her. She's a prolific musician. She's both re-recording her masters and also, composing new music all the time. There's so many reasons for her fans to get really excited about seeing her. And with 150 some shows across the world, we're just starting to see the real impact. Now, one of the things that's different outside the US is, of course, the fact that, we're not going to have the same level of travel, hotel, and so on, because
Right.
she's actually, here in the UK, she's going to be in all the major cities. Nobody really has to travel to go and see her. But the fact is that, the ticket cost is very steep. The merch, everything, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to be there and to be,
Alice,
really what we call bucket list.
I want to pick up on that point, because it seems like the Eras Tour was perfectly timed, right? There's this craving for more live events, more concerts, especially post-pandemic. What are the implications of that for the music industry at large? Does that mean we're going to see more artists touring and putting on these live performances? And does that mean the consumer is going to have to pay more because the demand is there?
Well, I hate to surprise you with this, but actually the first time we really saw this experience economy was actually in 2008-09. That was, to me, very eye-opening. It was very similar in the sense that, economic times were difficult, but people just threw themselves into live music, and live music has really not stopped since then. In fact, as you know, you've seen the Rolling Stones go out on tour. We've seen a lot of vintage bands, let's put it that way, get up and get out and get in front of fans. And the reason I think that is so important is that because, the fact is that this digitalization, the internet, everything, there is nothing like live music. And so perhaps it was more that fans had forgotten about how amazing live music is. And so it has been a major arc across the last, certainly 15 years in terms of what, I call the experience economy and so on. I think what we're seeing is that fans are willing to pay an awful lot more but not for everyone. And there are tours that don't get off the ground, there are vintage bands that don't get booked. So it really has to be the top end of the industry. And there are not a lot of people occupying the top end of the industry. So I think what we are seeing is certainly an appetite for live music, which has been there for a while, but of course was very, very profoundly suppressed during the pandemic. It's a social thing to go to a live music event. You don't go by yourself, you go with your friends and your and your sort of fellow fans. And so it's an experience on multiple levels.
But Alice, is this something though that can stick? Because I think that's what everyone is trying to figure out, how sticky this is, because yes, consumers are prioritizing the experience right now. That is where they're spending their money. But when we talk about shifting spending trends, is this something that you see remaining for the years to come?
I do see it in live music as long as the acts are there. As we know, Taylor has put an awful lot of effort into this, into the performance, into the entertainment, it is, an encyclopedic review of everything she's done. You can't just stand up there's so many production values that are surrounding her show. So it's really got to be, super worthwhile for the fans to go out there. But yeah, I do think, I think it is probably much more palpable in live music than, for example, in restaurants. People are cutting back on going out for dinner. It's an issue of shifting priorities. But a must-have event once in a lifetime, maybe next summer too. But yeah, I do think it's going to be very sticky in a way that other experiences are not. Like, for example, the cinema has really suffered. Of course, she's drawing a lot of people back into the cinema, but it's different. A film experience of the Eras Tour is not the same as the live event. You feel the music in your body. And I think the more people experience live music, the more they will want to go back and have that experience again.
Well, the economic impact of Taylor Swift has certainly been staggering this year. Enders Analysis music industry analyst Alice Enders, thanks so much.